It is hotter than blazes in Dallas, Texas. Today is August the 8th, 2023. I'm looking at my notification from my electric service provider, and it's very tricky because in Texas, there's not one rate. You could either get a fixed rate, which means you're going to pay a certain amount per kilowatt hour, or you can get a variable rate, which just means, well, whatever the demand is, your bill is going to go up or down. So yesterday I saw a notice that the power grid is about to blow out and the variable rate has gone up 800%. But luckily I'm on a fixed rate. But I'm looking at the bottom of a notification. There is no early termination fee if you cancel 14 days before your current fixed residential rate agreement contract. If you cancel earlier, then blah, 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 blah. I was feeling pretty good about recording this episode today until I began worrying about my electric bill. So with that introduction, I would like to say, how are you today?
Hello, I think I'm doing okay. How do you think I'm doing? Because we don't have this electric bill, we don't have that heat wave. So basically, I think that looks so paradise compared to you.
I know people think that Dallas is a great place, but you know, Texas is kind of its own world, and we make our own rules as if we're not part of a larger United States. And so the demand on the power grid is so high that several times the power grid has failed. Then they set up a committee to investigate why the power grid failed. And then 6 months later, the power grid fails again. So when the power grid fails, that means there's no electricity in the city, in the towns, in the countryside, you know. So when there's high demand, like super cold, power grid could go out. When it's super, super hot, day after day after day, the power grid could go out. So what's going to happen to me if the power grid blows out? I can't recharge my phone. All the food in my freezer is going to spoil. What else? My air conditioning is not going to work. And the electric company sends notifications and suggestions. Try to conserve energy so the power grid won't fail. So I go around and unplug a couple lamps. I unplug the TV. I unplug the toaster. But somehow I don't really believe that unplugging my toaster, my one little toaster, is going to save the power grid.
It's funny to get to know that somebody is trying to save money on something that keeps you cold rather than warm. Because if it's really cold here, we're trying to not to burn too much fuel or energy because the power bill will go really high. Like it's a situation very much like yours, only in reverse. What if we lived on Mars?
Would you rather freeze to death or sweat death?
Oh, definitely sweat is much, not the sweat, but heat is much more or much less harmful to the human body than the cold, I think. I could be wrong, but for me, I can endure like a higher amount of sweat provided there is enough water than like really cold temperatures where you can't warm yourself up unless you have some energy source that keeps you warm. So
well, see, what I think is that a couple episodes ago, maybe a week or so ago, we talked about the wet bulb temperature, and that's something that we kind of a new phrase we learned, that the body has a core, and we have our skin, which sweats when it's too hot. And maybe we put on an air conditioner, we put on a fan. But what's going on in Texas right now is that our cars are too hot, outside is too hot, our apartments are too hot, and we can't cool down. For example, my air conditioner was grinding away for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I have it set only at like 77 degrees, and it's still grinding away. It means it's still too hot in my apartment, and it's dark. So I prefer freezing because you can always get with like a cat or a neighbor or a friend and kind of snuggle up together and get a blanket and have a couple shots of whiskey, and you're not going to die.
How about your body temperature? I'm not sure if you tried to measure it, but is it too hot right now for the environment?
For example, no, what I'm saying is right now I'm sitting in my living room. My apartment's closed. I have heavy drapes up. I have a ceiling fan on. I have my air conditioning on. I'm wearing shorts, a t-shirt. I'm drinking ice water, and I'm sweating because my body is too hot. And the reason I'm awake in the middle of the night, well, it's like 3 a.m., is because I just woke up sweating. Back of my neck is sweating. My forehead is sweating. The only thing that's not sweating is my feet.
Well, I have a theory. Can I tell you what I just come up with? Because if you have a fever, feeling hot, it's beneficial to your health. So maybe we have the parallel here situation, because if you're hot, you don't have a fever, God forbid, but if you're hot, that's beneficial to your health because you keep sweating and you're getting rid of all these toxins your body has.
I've been doing this for like 7 days. I'm okay with getting rid of toxins. What I'm saying is that the overall, like, a fever helps you fight off infection. Like, you've got a fever and you had to take some pills to bring the fever down. Like, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is that in Texas, we've had about 10 days of this high heat, and it doesn't get cool at night. The buildings and the concrete have absorbed the heat. And so, people, I don't know what people, they're not even walking their dogs anymore because it's too dang hot. And we're just on the 8th of August. All of August is going to be triple digit heat. So when you said that, maybe you'd like to go fishing, maybe you'd like to go on a little drive out to your country house. That sounds so charming. But, I don't even want to go down to my car to go to the grocery store.
Do you have, I'm not asking if you have dinosaurs in Texas, but you definitely have birds, right? Or some kind of like reptiles, fish, amphibians kind of thing. And how do they feel?
Yeah, all of that stuff is happening. Okay, for example, I live in East Dallas. There are some nice big lakes. There's lots of trees. It's very hot here. Some of the birds are flying around or getting under the eaves of a house. Wild cats are getting under houses. Bugs, Liz, I went into the kitchen the other day. The tip of your little finger? Look at the tip of your little finger. Okay, Tony Carnes, Michael, David Anton, please look at the tip of your little finger. I found a salamander just in my sink. And I kept thinking, where did this salamander come from? So roaches are coming inside, bugs are coming inside, wasps are coming inside. All these creatures, or critters as I call them, are coming inside looking for water, and they are looking to get out of the heat. So we've had some cases of West Nile virus, which is carried by the mosquitoes. And there's mosquito trucks going all around spraying everything. So if you get in your car and try to go someplace, you might, inhale, mosquito spray.
You have,
It's really strange.
you have salamander in your house? How large is it?
I said, look at the tip of your little finger.
Okay.
It was about the size of the tip of your little finger, and I kept thinking, well, that's a baby salamander. Where are the brothers and sisters, and where is the salamander breeding in my house? These are things that occupy my mind. Where are the salamanders breeding? Why are they in my? Why was one in my sink?
I love them because they regenerate their limbs if lost. From the childhood, I thought, what if they pull out my teeth, like wisdom teeth, and it's like forever, I'm gonna die without it. But salamander, if you cut out the tail, it's gonna regenerate it back. I was kind of
Yeah,
loving.
I was very excited to learn that starfish are like that too. You cut off their arm, it just grows back. And actually, when I was a kid, my brothers and I used to play games, and we would pretend to cut off each other's arms, and then kind of bandage them up. When you're a kid, you play pirates, you play cowboy and Indians, you play doctor, you play church, whatever you play. But yeah, anyhow, I'm very fond of starfish, and you like salamanders.
Yeah, you say starfish. I think porn. I'm so.
Porn?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that.
I said porn?
No, that's not what I meant.
No, what did you say that sounded like that?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, well, since we've arrived at this dead spot in the episode, what do you think this episode should be called?
Starfish?
Starfish.
Starfish in Texas.
Starfish in Texas.
What do you think about that?
That would be a great song if only we knew someone that could write songs for us.
Are they carnivorous?
Anakunurus, is that a different language you're saying?
Carnivorous. Carnivorous. Are they carnivorous? Starfish.
Starfish live in the ocean, and they're not carnivorous. They just.
But what if they are? What if they were?
No. You're messing all the animals up like some evil scientist. Starfish just hang out in the water, and they always have little smiley faces. That's how I've always seen starfish, with little smiley faces.
Maybe I'm confusing the starfish with some other animal. I don't know what to do.
Well,
like a monster with tentacles.
Starfish.
How many arms? How many arms do you have with starfish usually? The normal starfish you have in Texas. By the way, we call Texas Texas. Texaso, like you had Texas. Texas. Yeah.
Starfish or sea stars are star-shaped ectoderms belonging to the class Asteroidea. Common usage frequently finds these names being applied to amphiuthroids, which are correctly referred to as brittle stars. Starfish are also known as asteroids due to them being in the class Asteroidea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have five little arms, and they have this little spiny stuff all over their body. And you can find them on the beaches. There are about 1,900 species of starfish living in the oceans. They're all the way up in the polar regions, and they're down in the tropical zones. Starfish are very busy on Earth.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking if the Arctic could be like ice free in 100 years, it will be filled with starfish, right? Because they don't dare yet, but what if they will?
Well, the glaciers are melting, and all due to climate change and other things. Um, yeah, probably all these starfish will like then be exposed on to the air, and then they're going to die because they need to be in the water.
I always confused Arctic and Antarctic. Like Arctic's supposed to be up north, and Antarctic probably is down south. Is that correct? I'm not sure if your geography is good, but
My
maybe we'll
geography's
just make it
great.
up later. Really? So
My
Antarctic
my
is
okay. Well, right now I'm kind of interested in the life cycle of the starfish.
yeah, but
There are
do you
male. There,
know
just a
south?
second.
Okay.
Okay, hang on a second. I didn't really know that there are male and female starfish, and you can't see their sexual organs. And some are hermaphrodites. Oh my gosh, this whole thing is disgusting. I don't even read about the sexual reproduction of starfish. You're going to get
Now
really
imagine if
nauseated.
the US or Russia, they set up the military bases on the Arctic, okay? And then there is some kind of starfish invasion, five-armed starfish. Wouldn't that be like a plot for a horror movie? I think we should license it.
Yes, yes, we need to start like copywriting all of our ideas. It's only
When was
81
that?
people following us. Wait a minute, Arctic, Artic. The Arctic. I looked up artichoke, Arctic, Arctic region. Yeah, the Arctic is at the northernmost part of the Earth. It includes the um, Arctic Ocean and parts of Canada, Yukon, northern Finland, Iceland, northern Norway, Russia. It includes Murmansk, Siberia, Ukrug, Nova Zemlya, and Sweden, and even some of the United States. It's got a permafrost on it, and they have
What's
tundra.
what's your favorite horror movie? Can you tell me what's your favorite scary movie? Um,
I don't
I'm sure you
like
have
to.
one,
I don't like any scary movies. I'm now
but if you will.
No, I don't like scary movies. I didn't like Blair Witch Project because there's too much motion. I spent most of the time for Blair Witch Project in the foyer just talking to a guy who at the popcorn machine. They go into the forest and they're like someone's chasing them and the camera motion is going up and down. Like I about threw up. It was like horrifying. A friend of
Oh, I
mine
love
invited me to
Blair Witch.
go to it, and she had tickets. And meanwhile, our daughters were going to see the Backstreet Boys at a huge concert. So we dropped these middle school girls off at some huge concert. That was probably like a horror movie. So I'm not allowed to see horror movies.
I love Blair Witch. There is a sequel to it, Blair Witch 2. Book of Shadows, I think it's called. Those are two movies, like from the top of my head, I can list that I loved a lot. I
Well, I
really,
guess the one that I did like was Psycho, Hitchcock. I like Hitchcock. I like classic old school Hitchcock. Yeah. I like that. Is this going to
who
be
was it?
still
I mean,
about
who was it? Who was it, Alfred Hitchcock? I heard the name, but I don't know who it is.
oh my gosh, just stop it. You're supposed to be intelligent and interesting. We're going to be losing subscribers. Alfred
Okay.
Hitchcock was an English film director He's widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in the history of cinema. His career spanned 6 decades. He directed over 50 films. I can't believe that you don't know who Hitchcock is. I'm
No, I
afraid.
heard the name. I heard the name, but I really wasn't interested in who the dude was. I know he was like rich and famous and probably had wife.
No, wait a minute. He's famous because of his artistic, productions. He did Psycho in 1960. He did Rear Window 1954, Spellbound 1945. He did Dial M for Murder, To Catch a Thief, Vertigo, The Birds. They are you've seen The Birds, right?
No, I don't like birds.
Oh
I'm a cat guy and a dog. So
It's the name of the film. The film is called
no,
The
I haven't.
Birds.
I haven't watched it. What's about? About birds?
Oh my gosh.
It's just that Blair Witch is much more interesting because it's a budget first, and I could have probably filmed it myself if I were a producer, and also it's really scary.
Well, the thing is, you got a lot of ideas, but he's the one that did it.
What do you mean?
Well, some people look at the work of others and say, I could have done that. For example, Jackson Pollock spread out canvas, stood up on a ladder, and threw paint on the canvas, and it's called action painting, Jackson Pollock. Many people say, I could have done that. Well, the thing is, you didn't do it. You're not Jackson Pollock, and you're not the inventor of action painting. So whenever I hear someone say, I could have done that, I'll just feel like, well, why don't you go do something and then impress us? I mean, I'm actually very mean to you.
No, I like that because I like the when you get don't kind. I don't want to use the word mean, but because
Annoyed.
that makes my guard stay up. Because if your guard is let down, you're vulnerable to all these stuff that world thrown in you, life thrown in you. But when we talk to you, like being in therapy, you put my guards up, and I walk with my guards up throughout the day. Nobody can harm me. I'm not sure about
Okay.
you, if your guards are down or up when we finish the episode. But if you're not getting, or if you feel good about our session, that works for me.
Well, so far we've discussed cutting off arms. We've talked about the Blair Witch Project. We've talked the reproduction of Starfish. We've talked about Alfred Hitchcock. And I would like to mention that Alfred Hitchcock had a favorite subject in school when he was a little boy. Do you know what he was interested in? Geography.
Woman?
No, he's a little boy. He's a
How
little boy.
little?
He was a child in like elementary school. He said that I'm just reading a little bit about his biography. His favorite subject was geography. He became interested in maps, railways, trams, buses, and timetables. He could recite all the stops on the train, the Orient Express. He also had an interest in London trams. And I mean, I just think that's great that Alfred Hitchcock is into all that. So your guard is up, and you are ready. You are already in the day, so you are facing the day. I have a very brutal day ahead of me. It's really going to be tough. One, my friend pulled out his back on the same day that we recorded the episode, back pain. So I drove over there the other day to drive him to work because he had taken a car from the shop and he needed to return the car. And then I drove over there yesterday so that he could go over there and stand around for an hour to say that he showed up to work for an hour. Now, today, he has to tell his boss that he's not coming in. But he feels that it's better that he show up and look like he's in excruciating pain, which he is, rather than just text, I don't feel well. So I have to go pick him up and like put this paralyzed invalid in my car and drive over bumpy roads so that he can show his boss that he's kind of incapacitated. On top of that, I lost my phone charger, and this friend who has my phone charger was using it to charge his phone, and he accidentally took my phone charger. So about the same time I'm supposed to drive one person with the paralyzed back is around the same time I'm supposed to meet this other person to get my phone charger back. And we're going to meet at this gas station. So that is a lot to do. There's a lot I have to do today.
But are you gonna let your guard down?
Oh, heck no. I'm gonna. And then it's my niece's birthday a couple weeks ago, and I created this box of fun stuff. I have to go to the post office, put that in the mail. It means I have to get out of my car, go in, come back out. I'll be sweating to death, and then somehow come back home. I mean, when I say my guard will be up, it means I have to be watching the temperature. I have to take water with me. I have to take ice cubes with me. I have to figure out what shoes to wear. I don't want to wear socks because then I'll be sweating. It's just like going into war.
Okay, but if you're not gonna let your guard down, you will be very guarded. Stay guarded. That's my wish to you for the day ahead.
Stay strong. Oh
yeah,
my
stay
gosh!
strong. I tell myself and my Wi-Fi signal. Because why are we without Wi-Fi?
Well, one good thing is that I'm just sort of sitting in my living room with the air conditioning grinding away, the ceiling fan twirling, my ice in my glass has melted. But straight across from me, I have a snow scene of the woods and the snow and the mountains. So when I look at that snow scene, I feel more calm, and I feel like my core temperature could be reduced by just looking at the snow scene.
What's your level
of anxiety?
Yeah, are you level-headed, or what's your? Is it normal level now?
No, it can't be normal. We're in a heat dome. My ice is melting.
Okay, so from 1 to 10, what's your level of anxiety?
Right now?
Yeah.
About a 7.
Okay, we'll have to probably spend another 30 minutes to let it down to 4, I think.
That'd be normal. Well, my ice melted. My ice has melted. What else is going wrong?
Vision is compromised?
No, ICE.
Okay, I thought there was something wrong with your eyes and maybe the teary eyes or something compromised in any way. But that's okay.
No, actually, I wanted to see the print. It's a framed print. I wanted to see that better, so I put on my glasses, and now I'm able to see the snow scene. I would like to walk in that snow scene.
You know what I've just thought? That maybe we should start the episode with the level of anxiety estimate, because like we start the episode, what's your level of anxiety? 1 to 10, you say like 7. What's yours? And I'm like 9. Okay, then we speak, and each 15 minutes we like keep measuring it to see the progress, right? What do you like that?
Yeah, I like that. That sounds good. That sounds like a good idea. Now my mouth is dry because I've been swallowing and I've been sweating. I have dry mouth.
How about your headaches or stomach issues? Do you have any dizziness or shakiness or I don't know,
No, no,
anything?
I have like a pulsing on the left side of my head.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. But it stopped.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Chest tightness, because you probably don't have it because you're okay, you're
No,
laughing.
no,
No?
no chest tightness. I just have I don't actually my palms are also sweating because I'm sitting in a leather chair. So leather picks up the same temperature as your body. So now this amazing leather chair that I'm sitting in, it's got like the palm of my right hand is sweating onto the leather chair.
What's your resting heart rate? Has that been going down since we started this episode?
I don't know. I just had hot coffee and I had ice cubes. I have no idea. Do I? do I? I don't know. But I'm getting a blood pressure cuff so that I can monitor my blood pressure.
I'm thinking maybe it's vice versa. So we think our anxiety level is up, and so we feel like we don't feel good. But what if it's vice versa? So if your body could feel okay, then maybe everything would be fine. There would be no anxiety.
Yeah, that's actually true because just helping my friend, just driving my friend, picking him up and giving him a ride to work is something very nice that I want to do. Somebody accidentally borrowed my phone charger. I'm just going to go pick it up, get my phone charger, and get some gas. Those simple tasks are pleasant, but because of the heat, I feel anxious about how I'm going to manage those things. And, if my tires are going to be okay. Because I've seen some people posting on Instagram that their tires blew out because of the heat, and maybe they ran over a lump in the road and they blew out their tire. And I'm not talking about going on a freeway. I'm just talking about, driving around to the grocery store, driving around to the bank. I have to sit here and wonder, how are my tires doing? How about your tires?
Well, you are not alone because I've been sitting here thinking about my tires too.
What are you thinking about your tires?
That I have replaced them with the newest one for the
Yeah, I
winter
have a
ahead
really good.
because we had the studded tires for the snow and ice conditions. And mine are worn out, I think, and I thought, what if I replace them for new ones? And how much would that cost me? Well, I can afford it. Maybe I should do that right now while the price is definitely not as high as they would be
Oh yeah,
when
yeah,
the
that's
winter
a good
comes.
idea.
That's what I've been thinking since we started this episode. And then you were saying like you were thinking about tires too. And I think isn't that a synchronicity?
It
So you're
is,
not
and
alone.
I actually
It's like no
have
one
a
understands. Go ahead.
I have I have a Firestone policy. So Firestone is a manufacturer of tires, and I've had this Firestone policy for years. You buy the policy, and then when you need a new tire, it's at a discounted price. Or let's suppose that one tire gets a nail in it or something and it needs to be replaced. They just measure the tread on the tire and they only charge me a portion of the price of the tire. So I bought this policy maybe 12 years ago in Houston, Texas. And now I love my Firestone policy because I never have to think, what am I going to do if I need to replace all four tires? Because if you need to replace all four tires, that's expensive. But I like the way you're thinking about getting your snow tires and stuff now because it's not the dead of winter and maybe the prices will be a little bit better. That sounds like a really good accomplishment, just thinking about tires.
Yeah, maybe we should make an episode about tires, like about how they have lifetime warranty and is the tire rotation worth the cost and stuff like that. You're not a mechanic, though. I'm not sure if You'd be able
I
to
am a
keep up with
mechanic.
me.
I spend a lot of time in mechanic shops. When I was first dating my ex-husband, he was in the United States on a mathematics scholarship, and I was a young graduate student at the University of Houston, and he was at Rice University, and we were going to take a couple classes, extracurricular classes, not at the university. So I wanted to take a dance class, and I wanted him to wear a Hawaiian shirt and learn how to dance. That was hilarious. And he wanted us to take a car maintenance class. So, as all good relationships go, this only foretold the demise of the relationship, because his approach to dancing was to print out a program on his computer and then look at the program and then look at where his feet were supposed to go. So he turned it into sort of like a mathematical exercise, and he found dancing really stressful. And my idea of the car repair class, we're sitting in this huge auditorium. It's so great. I just want some popcorn. And he goes, "Are you watching? Are you paying attention?" So some guy had a pointer, and he was had a big screen, and he was pointing to different things. I go, "No." He goes, "Well, we need to learn how to repair our cars." I go, "I don't need to learn how to repair a car." So these were not huge arguments, but I don't feel like I need to learn how to repair a car. I just pretend like I don't know anything, and then some guy will deal with my car. This is feigned stupidity on the part of a woman.
Yeah. Well, thinking of going to school to become a mechanic.
Yeah, they have a lot of courses.
When this finance, all those pyramids go down, what would how am I going to make a living? But car mechanics, they'll be over.
Yeah, car mechanics.
All the time.
Yeah, car mechanics, funeral home directors, people will always be dying. So you could work in a funeral home, or you could repair cars. But if you're going to repair cars, you have to lay on your back on a little dolly that slides back and forth. And how is your back? Do you have any lower back pain?
Lower back, no, it's gone. Because me and my friend Jack Daniels, we helped each other a lot. Hey, listen, you mentioned the funeral homes, and I thought, no fucking way, because this mortuaries. I know you like cemeteries, but I don't know. You're not having any paranormal experiences when you're it. But if I'm thinking of a funeral home or cemetery or mortuary, I think this will be like the Blair Witch too. And I was scared enough when I watched it.
No, I like that.
Car mechanics.
I was actually looking for a part-time job. I mean, I don't know, I had gotten out of teaching, and I was doing consulting, and I was writing for some artists, and but I'm always looking for some other ridiculous extra job to do. And I was just flipping through this paper, or actual real newspaper in East Dallas, and it said, actually one of my daughters said, "Hey Mom, look at this." I go, "What?" He goes, "They're looking for drivers at this funeral home." My daughter goes, "You love funerals." so I know how to dress. I know how to talk to people. I am actually comfortable with death and dying. And but the only problem was, when I did the interview, well, then the pandemic hit, and then nobody could go to cemeteries anymore. But anyhow, when I did the interview, you would have to drive on freeways. So they give you the car, and then you got to go drive or pick up people or something. But the cemeteries in Dallas are accessible on the freeways, but I can't drive on a freeway because I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. So I was really sad that I couldn't drive a car full of people to the funerals. What I wanted to do is just sit at the desk and welcome people to the ceremony. Just, hello, would you like to sign this book? Hello, I'm sorry about your loss. Would you like to sign the book? Hello, here's our guest book. I'm sorry about your loss. How do you think my voice sounds as a funeral parlor host?
It actually freaks me out.
I feel
I
like
don't know
I'm
how
in a
we jump to the subject of funeral and morticians and I don't know mortuaries, but it really freaks me out.
You
I'd
wanted
rather
to
talk
be,
about Starfish and how you can cut its arms like one by one and then it regenerates back, but not the funeral homes. You can't actually kill it because if they regenerate their arms, whatever you do to them, they'll be like back in no time.
it's like
No
pruning a tree.
funerals for Starfish. They're like perpetual mobile.
No, I love that. No funerals for starfish. I love that expression. That can be a poem, that can be a song. No funerals for starfish.
Yeah, maybe we should come up with a script for another movie, and maybe like who's like the most famous movie director? They'll get to hear our episode, get to listen it, and they'll come up with the movie because we already have a script. Hey, can you put
Yeah.
it down? What's the first one this morning? We discussed some kind of a movie, I forgot. And this one, No Funeral for Starfish. I think that's
Okay.
like Oriental Express by Agatha Christie. Could be a hit
Yes,
of
yes,
2023.
yes, yes. And it's a good thing that we make these trauma therapy episodes so we can go back and listen to them. Actually, that way we can keep up with what we're doing. Because if we weren't listening, we might not be able to, cash in on all our ideas. Okay, I'm writing this down. No funerals for starfish.
I had to admit, because the episode we recorded yesterday, I'm not sure if we should publish it. You were in such a hurry. And I was kind of slow. I don't know, maybe we should redo it, or maybe, do you want it to be published the
What
way it
was it
is?
called?
If you do, huh?
What was it
Because you
called?
had to
Maps?
run maps, yeah, you had to
Oh,
run
yes.
errands.
That was,
I, the
I was,
sound was bad because you were driving, and I didn't feel safe when you were driving the wheel and talking to the phone.
okay. No, it
Do you
was
want?
okay, but then I had to see. That's exactly what I'm going to have to do today. I just went
Yeah, but
downstairs and turned on the motor and took off the shield of the sun guard. Like my shield was up, my guard was up,
yeah, never
and
let
then,
her get down.
and then I was going up and down some hills, and then there were bulldozers nearby, and at the same time, someone was texting me that I was late, and then I ran a stop sign, but nobody was around me, so I don't feel like it was a crime. Is it a
Yeah, okay.
crime if
So
no one?
we'll keep it. We'll keep the episode because it'll be fun to go back to it in like a year or two and recall what was going on. Even the sound was shitty, but still the memories that we've made, they'd be good.
It's true. It's true. It's like I went back and looked at some of the titles, like on the channel Petroma Therapy. You can click different buttons, like what's the oldest uh, episode on here? Like what's the most watched? What's the newest episode? And I've clicked that button and gone back just to see the titles of some stuff that we made a couple years ago. I barely even remembered recording them. It's not because I have COVID or long-term memory or short-term memory loss. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with my brain.
Yeah, that's a good excuse to wrap up today's episode. Do you have any final piece of advice you have for our subscribers, for listeners, not subscribers, and for me?
Well, I would just say some of you are thinking of unsubscribing. Don't do it. just
Because you'll
keep
be like, you'll pay for it later on in life, like karma thing.
yeah. Yes, I think that, we're going to let everybody choose whether their guard should be up or down. And, let's just go forth into the day and conquer.
Yeah, and can you tell me what's your anxiety level now before you ring the bell on a scale 1 to 10?
About a 4.
I think mine is about 5 too. So I think we've made progress and we've done a good job, as you Americans say in American language. And
Yes.
I'm ready for you to ring the bell, if you don't mind. And thank you.